Disasters are becoming more prevalent as a part of our world and our lives as wildlife rehabilitators and educators. Welcome to the first step in our guidance towards preparing your facility for disasters. This video is a partner to the Workbook 1 document. It will offer some additional information to help you gather your disaster preparedness information. This focuses on the information you need to have available for someone entering your facility, for example, an emergency responder. This workbook is the first in a series of preparedness modules that will aid rehabilitators in creating their own disaster and emergency plan. The series will address both preparing a rehabilitator for a disaster on-site and response to a regional disaster where the rehabilitator's skills are needed. As rehabilitation facilities vary widely in size and scope, and there are regional differences around the globe, we have made this workbook as general as possible to fit your needs. However, please attach any extra information that is appropriate for your situation. The primary functions of this workbook are: gather important contact information and information about your facility. Prepare necessary maps of your facility. Address emergency equipment and on-site hazards. Identify permanent and transitory animal populations. Comply with regulations that require an emergency plan. In-house, facility personnel will be important contacts for outside responders. These include your permit holders, facility director, animal care staff, electronic records specialist, and any other persons you deem appropriate. For animal care staff, list their animal-related roles, such as veterinarian or vet tech, and their specialty if they have one. Specialties could include things such as songbirds, waterfowl, raptors, mammals, wound management, isolation, or pre-release. Other special trainings can also be listed, such as hazmat training or FEMA courses. Provide phone numbers. Outside emergency contacts encompass a wide range of individuals, businesses, and organizations, such as veterinarians, utility companies, regulatory agencies, human health facilities, and rescue groups. These will vary depending on where you are located, so the workbook forms serve as just a framework. Global positioning system coordinates can be useful, especially in combination with maps. Written directions to your facility can offer first-hand knowledge of the best route to take. And a diagram of the facility's floor plan is essential in an emergency. A diagram of your facility's floor plan should include important information for responders. These include, but are not limited to, points of entry, animal housing spaces, emergency supplies, and utility shutoffs. The simplified example shown here was created using SmartDraw, which can be found at www.smartdraw.com. Enclosure maps can be hand-drawn or computer-drawn using software or apps. The process does not need to be laborious or expensive, as this simple map was created in just a few minutes with OpenOffice Draw. If you are actively rehabilitating patients, your animal population will be ever-changing as new patients are added and others are released or deceased. Establish an easy-to-access location for your log of these temporary residents. Enclosures for temporary residents may be labeled on maps with a T. And remember that rescue personnel may not be able to identify species, knowing, for example, a red-tailed hawk from a peregrine falcon. So it is best to also have it listed on the enclosure itself. It may be necessary for someone other than your staff to enter the building. Where can a spare door key be found? What is the access code for your digital door lock? Or what is the name and phone number of the person who should be contacted to find out the current code if it is routinely changed? Create a list of your emergency equipment. This can be a separate map or combined with your evacuation route map, depending on the complexity of your facility. Emergency equipment may include, but is not limited to, first aid kits, fire extinguishers, hoses and hydrants, eye wash stations, and self-contained breathing apparatus. It is often recommended that you do an inspection of your equipment twice a year on daylight savings time change days. This serves as an every 6-month reminder. If you are in an area that does not observe the daylight saving system, establish your own inspection schedule. Escape route planning can be the difference between life and death. The map you create for this workbook should also be posted around your facility. Again, there are many ways that you can create a map. When creating your map, a good tool to consult is the U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Authority, OSHA, Interactive Floor Plan. Key things to consider include multiple routes, width of hallways, exits away from hazardous materials, exit signs, designating an assembly area, and adding "You are here" on posted versions. These are the website addresses for the OSHA Interactive Planning Tool and for SmartDraw, which are just two of various tools that can be used to create maps like the simple examples on the previous slides. Recognizing hazards in the workplace is a complex subject, and we will be exploring this in more depth in future workbooks. However, listing your presently known hazards in one place will assist responders. Making a binder or folder of your safety data sheets, formerly Material Safety Data Sheets or MSDS, is very helpful as they can be moved to the area of any problem or treatment of an exposed individual. Hazard details include work area, example, laundry room. Hazard category, example, chemical. And hazard identification, example, bleach, or oxygen. Choose your document storage locations. This should include at the facility, locally off-site, and also remote accessible, such as in the cloud. IWRC will be releasing a more in-depth series covering the broader topic of disaster and emergency preparedness to aid you in developing a complete action plan for your facility. Future modules will go into detail regarding preparing for the different types of disasters and how to mitigate, respond, and recover. We hope that the disaster planning series will be helpful and make the preparation and planning process more manageable. We hope that you will join us in the goal of being ready.